Welcome to the Peak Performance and Peak Satisfaction podcast with Master Executive Coach Sherry Gregoff. Sherry helps business people perform better, get rewarded handsomely, and actually enjoy their work. After having her own career turnaround, she now helps other high-powered business professionals experience the same. Join the movement to work differently.
Welcome to the podcast. It's great to have you here. This week, we are taking on that sensitive relationship with your manager or leader. There is a lot of drama that comes up here that can keep us from advancing our careers and even enjoying our work on a daily basis. In this episode, learn the winning mindsets and strategies to make this crucial stakeholder a neutral factor in your career and even convert them into an advocate for your success. Before we jump in, I want to shout out one of my clients who had a win in this area. Here is the quote from her. After coaching with Sherry, I did it. I asked about my promotion prospects. I communicated that I wanted to make the next level before the end of the year. My manager said he agreed and that we would make it happen. I followed through and offered to take the lead on next steps to make it a reality. I never would have raised this if Sherry hadn't given me the confidence to do so, and who knows if it would have happened if I didn't press it. This client felt herself shrinking back on the topic of promotion with her manager. She didn't want to come across self-centered or pushy. She procrastinated on the conversation and planned to just see how things went as the year progressed. This is usually a recipe for disappointment because when we don't communicate what we want and in what time frame, we may feel optimistic but without any facts, and then feel crestfallen when our manager didn't read our mind and it doesn't happen. So, she went the extra step to assure it would progress by offering to help administer the process and get things started for the manager, taking some of the work off of his plate to facilitate her promotion. This makes it a no-brainer for a manager to yield to an employee who is ready to drive their own advancement. We don't know unless we ask, and in this case, it paid off big time. Similar victories are shared by all of my clients, and I have experienced it too in my own career turnaround. So let's hop to today's podcast content and get you on your way to experiencing this also. We have all had the nightmare boss, from micromanaging to straight up discrimination. Whether your current boss falls in that category or not, whether you are a CEO, but you answer to a board or a chairman, or even if you are an entrepreneur, but feel like sometimes you're answering to yourself as that highly demanding and often cruel boss, then this episode is for you. Our relationship with our manager's peers, their manager, and above is often an untapped opportunity. We usually talk ourselves out of having any leverage to proactively manage up. Well, friends, we are busting that myth today. What if I told you that no matter how handcuffed you felt by your boss, that there's always a play to be made, that you have leverage and power in the situation that you may not realize is there? It's the truth, and we are unpacking it today. Buckle up, because your manager will no longer be a blocker to what you want to accomplish professionally. Your manager will no longer be a detractor from your satisfaction. Let's first cover the sources of drama in this relationship that might exist even before having met your manager. One is the concept of authority. Business organizations tend to have hierarchy. There's corporate titles, reporting lines, and cultural norms that can lead to behaviors that are akin to reverence for people, the more senior that they are. I've always found it a bit odd. Corporate leaders traveling like a head of state with an entourage, security, handlers, even writers of demands or requirements that must be met when in their presence. I must be greeted at the airport by a black S500 with the interior temperature set to exactly 71 degrees. When you think about it, it's strange even for rock stars and presidents too. But executives? Really? I don't get it. I raise it here because behaviors like these build our beliefs that the hierarchy and titles are real and meaningful. A core belief behind it is that as humans, those more senior business people are better than someone who is not at that level in the organization. Let's take a deep breath here and remember that everyone is human. Everyone is flawed. Everyone in a crisis is suddenly in it together. Everyone, face to face, alone, tends to shed these layers of ego. Everyone can be humbled. It's a good reminder to tell yourself whether you're about to present a pitch or about to meet your new boss. Remember that they're human too. Some of us have allergic reactions to authority. Who is this person to give me commands, judge me, watch my every move, and decide my fate? I hear you. It's all right. We are starting from wherever we are right now, and that might include a rebellious streak that doesn't take well to orders. I'm there with you, and I'd like to offer you a shifted perspective here. No one can force you to do anything against your will in the business place. Employment at will is exactly that. It's a job you can walk out on at any time. That means you never have to compromise your ethics, do something against your values, or tolerate discrimination. You always have options. Always. We talk ourselves out of having options. We say things like, we have to put food on the table. We could never walk out on a job. And so our brain concludes that we must follow orders no matter what. You can always leave your job. You can always find another job. You can always take a lower paying job or two that you are overqualified for to put food on the table. When we say this, what we often really mean is that the quality of our lifestyle that said job funds, we've grown quite accustomed to, such that we want to avoid putting that lifestyle at risk. Here's what we do. We ensure we have savings such that we can maintain our lifestyle even if a job disappeared or we walked out. I have a client who did this recently. He carefully saved and lived within his means to be able to make a calculated decision to leave a job at any time. He describes that freedom as priceless. Consider that is available to us all. It removes the ball and chain or the golden handcuffs from our work situation. Also, we can always decide that a job and the associated hit to our well-being is just not worth the perks that it affords. We can change our spending levels associated with our housing and discretionary expenses. There is no rule that our spending habits must only go up. I start here because often our managers become that obligation to a job personified. We can villainize our managers so easily. Whatever we dislike about our job can be blamed on a boss. I see it often. It's a natural thing. Scapegoats seem to make sense. Making our lot someone else's fault can temporarily ease the pain of knowing we are choosing this situation day after day. But here too, we can put that down. The longer we keep up this perception that it's the paycheck holding us hostage or a boss that lives to torment us, the more miserable we will be. So to recap, we own our financial situation. We can live within our means to always have the freedom to move on from a job that no longer fits us. And we take full responsibility for our role and prospects, independent from what our boss is prescribing or enabling. If this last statement feels like a foreign concept, allow me to use this episode to get you there. You ready? Let's get into the most common gripes about bosses, fact check them, and find the mindset upgrade available to us instead. I will share specific strategies you can use and new actions to take in each situation. This is how we neutralize our boss as a variable in our success and satisfaction equation. This is how we refuse to let our relationship with our leader hinder our career progression. Stop right now and think how you might be letting your take on your boss hold you back. Think of 5 friends or colleagues who are doing the same thing. Share this podcast with them. It's time to set ourselves free. First up, my manager is not hearing me. We like to be in control. When we feel like something or someone is outside our control, it can make us feel powerless. We kind of get stuck on repeat in a negative spiral. In this situation, it may be stating, they never listen to me, and concluding then that they don't care about what I have to say. So we give up. We raise the white flag and stop speaking up. But the unshared input burns within us. If this is you, consider this new perspective to try on. I use my voice. I do so in a way that makes me impossible to ignore. But how do we do this? We communicate in a way that lands with our manager. Consider, do they respond best to visuals, PowerPoint decks, physical paper, or maybe they're auditory. They like to just have conversations verbally. Or maybe they're kinesthetic. They want to walk the floor or do a demo, moving through the topic being discussed. Know their style and match it every time you want your message to penetrate. If timing or availability is the issue, straight up ask how they like to communicate. And in case they never thought about it, offer them a menu. Are scheduled one-on-ones best for you? Emails with updates once a week of what I have going on? Instant messages to check in? Ad hoc placing of calls or walking by to catch them on the fly? This forces your manager to think about the way they would prefer you to connect with them. And then it lets you use the most effective method to do so, over and over. You can check in from time to time and ask if the communication is working well for them too, or offer ideas for improvement. Number 2, my manager has it out for me. When there is a lack of trust between us and our manager, it can show up as villainizing them. We feel suspicious and guarded. It's usually from repeating to ourselves that we are not on the same page. We are working against each other. To plant the seeds on a more constructive mindset, consider what common objectives you do have. Remember that when you succeed, they succeed, and vice versa. The path of least resistance is to actually collaborate. Whether your perception matches how they feel or not, these strategies are good to take no matter the situation. Consider what is important to your manager. The success of the team, their career advancement, things working smoothly such that they don't have to put out fires, hitting visible targets for the group. What motivates them? Then consider your role in getting them what they want. This is your leverage. This is why any rational party would want to collaborate with you and contribute to your success. Make it more evident to them. Connecting the dots by offering up how one of your current efforts will help your manager get what they want. Make the link and ask if this is indeed important to them. You can couch it in saying that you want to use your time and effort on what will be most meaningful to them, so this checking for clarity is helpful to them too. Once they see how your success equates to their success, any attempts to bring you down will be illogical, or at the very least, diffused. Number 3, the firm's strategy is misguided. This is a big one. As business people, we can feel disenfranchised, like we're at odds with what the quote-unquote leadership is doing. They're often referenced as they. We take exception with top-down decisions, strategies, or policies and wear it on our sleeve as our number one gripe. This was a big issue, and in some places still is, on return to office post-pandemic, with many companies requiring employees to work from the office a minimum number of days per week. Many statistics note that productivity, quality, and business success measures improved with everyone working from home. Theories of why companies, despite this data, are asking employees to return to office is to hold up economies in our cities, to rationalize significant investments in real estate that the company may have made, and even to appease the leaders' egos with their main social network being with colleagues in the office rather than personal relationships. No matter the rationale on either side, I have seen many business people be disgusted at the strategic direction of their company. Repeating this to themselves daily about how they disagree with the top-level direction can be cancerous. The perspective shift that I would offer to anyone in this situation is to look at your company like you would your country. It's a complex decision with many variables: where to live, where to work. As residents and as employees, we weigh all the variables and alternative options. Then we make the best decision to choose the best of our options. That means that wherever you choose to live and work may not be 100% aligned with your wishes. We may choose to live in a country where we disagree with the policies and approach of the political leader of that country. Rather than torturing ourselves daily by emphasizing that difference of opinion and approach, we make the choice and we accept the imperfections. We may choose a country based on safety and opportunity and choose to accept differences in social or economic policy. Fighting reality daily is destructive and useless. We can try to drive change, but then we need to release the reins as it is outside of our control. It works the same in a business. Without being the decision maker, if there are decisions made that you disagree with, you have the choice to stay or leave. If you stay, disagree and commit to your decision. Put down the burden of carrying decisions that you feel were wrong or misguided unless you are the decision maker. Decide how you can be successful and find satisfaction despite this, or leave. Number 4, I can't control my manager, so I won't be successful here. Here again, we can build up the role that our manager plays in our success and convince ourselves that we have no influence. We can set our brains to find evidence about how our manager is out of our control, and most certainly it will find that evidence and reinforce this belief. Or we can decide that we have a tremendous amount of influence and then take action by focusing on what we can control. Here are some next steps to take. Set clear objectives that have buy-in from your manager. So they're important to your manager, they're meaningful and significant. Within those objectives, decide together exactly what the measures of success are. Aim for these to be completely objective, so anyone observing the situation would have the same assessment. This again puts more of the control of your own success back to you. By removing the subjectivity, you will not leave things to chance, as long as you deliver on your objectives in a measurable way. You can also formally solicit feedback from your manager at regular intervals to avoid any surprises. By asking what you can improve upon and sharing the next steps you plan to take to incorporate that feedback, you again are removing subjectivity from the equation. Number 5, my manager is holding me back from advancing. This mindset is putting your manager in a role that conflicts with yours, with competing objectives. Really, if you are excelling in your work, Your manager will want to reward you, to retain you, to keep a successful team. So remind yourself of that instead. If you are deserving and it helps the team, there is no reason why a manager would want to hold you back, other than not wanting to spend the time and effort maybe to shepherd you through a promotion process. Here are steps that you can take. Communicate your career goals. But seriously, this step we tend to trip up on. We don't want to be pushy. We don't want to be selfish. We don't want to feel uncomfortable when asking, so we don't. Without communicating your goals of advancing your career, I assure you that managers will assume you are fine where you are. Everyone is busy, and it doesn't take much work to just keep the status quo. Once you communicate your career goals, ask for where there are gaps in how you are currently contributing. What are the development areas that you need to focus on to advance? Ask for your manager's input on how to close the gaps. Offer them ideas and gut check whether you're on the right track. If you need something like more exposure that's dependent on your manager offering you opportunities, keep them honest. Offer your ideas for getting exposure. Follow up with them. All of this should be documented transparently in performance management systems or emails, so that you're summarizing at every step to be sure that you're understanding clearly, you're soliciting feedback or input as you go. You have lots of influence and control in this process if you use them. Number 6, my manager takes the credit for my ideas. Here too, we are repeating a frustrated thought of how valuable our ideas are and how conniving our manager is. Repeating this narrative will only solidify your lack of power in the situation and emphasize theirs. Let's get to action. If someone keeps stealing your ideas, it's more that you aren't being given visibility yourself or the credit. Start making your work transparent, sharing your ideas yourself live in meetings, publishing your own content, asking to come to the meeting where your work is being presented, developing your own relationships with key stakeholders where you interact directly, not through your manager. You can frame this with your manager that you would like to develop your own personal branding and identity without the influence of your manager. Again, you can do this graciously. You're such a force when in the room that it's hard for me to have my own voice or share my own ideas. But I'm going to make an effort to build up these relationships in my own right too. You can do this. Number 7, I don't get along with my manager. Ah, yes, the age-old not getting along with our manager. It's so stereotypical, but so common too. Get back on the same side of the table, that you're in it together. Maybe it was a forced marriage, but here you are, so might as well make the best of it. And guess what? On improving the relationship, you go first. One way to do this is to be easy to manage. Be available, speak candidly, express your intentions, stay positive, suggest solutions. Usually, when not seeing eye to eye, it's an indicator that there's a lack of trust. So learn their trust language. Take note of high trust relationships that they have with other colleagues. What does it seem to be grounded in? Is it loyalty? Giving them a heads up before other people? Making sure they're in the loop and not surprised? For others, it might be making the work environment pleasant, staying positive, not griping or talking about others behind their backs. For others, it might be knowing that you care about them. Express interest in how their weekend was, how they're feeling if they were sick. For yet others, it's a rational thinking kind of thing. They like facts. They like coherent arguments. So give it to them consistently. And yet for others, it's having a level of earnestness and candor, to be honest and direct as a way to connect more deeply. These are just some of the levers to pull when building trust. And the way that is most effective is tapping into the trust language that you see this manager responding well to with other people. Number 8, I don't have top-down support or sponsorship. This is a mindset trap that I hear a lot. They should support me more. I hear business people say this about managers, leaders, and even their spouses, team members, peers, friends. There's an air of entitlement here about it being all about you, about others supporting you in exactly the way that you have in mind. Ah, yes, but it's not how this works. Support comes from relationships. If you aren't investing and pouring into others, it's unlikely they will pour support into you. So do a stakeholder map when managing up. There's your manager, your manager's peers, so diagonally upward. Then skip level, your manager's managers. How do you become a known quantity for these people? How can you help them? What can you offer them, whether it's your skills or your perspective from a different part of the organization? Develop your network of advocates by doing the right thing and adding value. And if you have a list of stakeholders who are advocates already for you from all levels, for goodness sakes, make sure your manager knows that list of people exists and offer them as references for promotion or feedback providers ahead of performance reviews. Number 9, people like me can't succeed here. This mindset is one of feeling excluded, feeling like the only of our kind, feeling like the odds are against us in advancing within an organization. It can be based on data. It can be the facts. But what I would offer is the more you emphasize this, even to yourself, the more you will literally work yourself out of a job and make the stereotype true. You can flip your mindset and not fall prey to the haters. Don't believe that you have to contort yourself to be successful. Here's how I know. Has someone like you overcome tremendous adversity and succeeded, even in your type of situation, or your line of work, or your industry? Of course they have. If you can't think of someone immediately, I bet you can find them. And if one person was able to blaze the trail, why can't you? Anytime your brain tries to count you out before you even go for it, don't fall victim to this. Even if discrimination, for example, is real and measured, it will only limit you if you let it. If you are exceptional and the value you bring undeniable, it is far more likely that you land in a role where you are celebrated than not. But only if you get out of your own way and keep performing and persevering, even as doors are slammed shut in your face. You can do this. We can do this. Number 10, my manager doesn't recognize me for my contributions. The mindset here is that this is out of your control, that you can't influence your manager to recognize your contributions. I believe that is false. Here is how we do it. Make your priorities clear to your manager in your workload and in your career objectives. Ask if they agree that you are tackling the most meaningful things. If not, what do they think are the most meaningful and why? You update accordingly. Then, as you work on those top priorities, seek feedback on your work product. If you don't receive constructive feedback, press for it. Reference your thick skin, and the only way that you will get better is if you know what can be improved. Take those notes and incorporate them. Work to get better. Seek feedback again on whether there has been improvement, or brainstorm together how to drive improvement. In addition to your business deliverables, the what that you are delivering, seek feedback on behaviors, the way that you deliver, the how you deliver on your work. It takes both sides of this equation to be successful and to be recognized for your contributions. So solicit the feedback and work to address it. and ask for feedback again to see if it improved or not. This process is easy to shortcut or to skip altogether, but you can lead your manager through it because you know it's in your best interests. Today, we discussed how to take the lead in managing up to the benefit of your success, your satisfaction, the business, and your boss. It's a win-win situation. It takes some new mindsets and strategies, but the more you practice, the more they will come naturally. You've got this. Make that manager an advocate of yours by making your value add undeniable. Until next time.
Looking for support in applying the principles and strategies in today's episode? Sherry coaches clients one-on-one as their trusted confidant and advisor, helping each client create the work and life they had only dreamed of. To schedule your complimentary career strategy session, go to sherrygregoff.com/apply to book time with her today. It's one simple step that can change everything.